Hello, everyone. It is March 9, 2021. Today is my dad's birthday, and it's also my Lola's birthday. And I just want to reach out to everyone. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It's the Awesome 10X Global Market Update. You're watching Nikki U. And let's begin. Okay, so the US market actually last night, it was a lot of choppiness. I'd say that some stocks fell, some stocks rose, and some stocks were very strong. Let's take a look at some names that are very strong. So you could see that your BTC USD happened to trade above your $50,000, and so far is even trading here at about $54,380, 54,400. It was a shallow correction for your BTC after hitting 58,000 here, fell down to about 43,000 here, and then correct after that correction started to bounce and rebound here at 54K. We think that there is an opportunity with BTC rising very strongly that your hot mining, which owns a lot of your BTCs, should trade on a positive side. You could see that hot mining is now trading from as high as 16 to as low as 8 last Friday, and last night it started to trade above 10 above $9. So we do think that this one could trade above 10 in the next few days, considering that BTC, which is what Hot 8 mining does, they process, they're a crypto miner with a lot of BTCs with just a production cost of 7.5. They should report very great numbers this coming April and this coming end of March. And this is a company that we would be happy to position into, especially at the $9 level. Now, let's also take a look at some names that have been dropping, but we don't see it really dropping forever. You could see that in a watch list, some crypto-related assets like CryptoStar managed to still rebound already. So that is actually from Toronto. So not everyone is the same. CryptoStar Corp is trading high, 40% up after hitting 70 cents to about 25 cents, rally to 40 cents. You could see that some blockchain-related names like Humble Inc. is still way here at about 330. So with this one, we think is a good opportunity to load up on a company utilizing the blockchain to enable payments. So take note that it has fallen back here to about 290. And we think that any rallies back to about 380 or $4 will have some selling pressure. But any supports here at about 330 would be a great opportunity to enter. So whether you entered at about 3.30 or 3.1 or 2.9, I'd say that the risk is still in the bull side and the reward is still a substantial $2 further at about 420 or 520 here. So you've got a higher chance to make money on the upside. What exactly did Humble Pay share in their Twitter account? They actually started to share their non-fungible tokens. So let's take a look at the profile. I shared a little bit about the non-fungible tokens. This one, let's see. So this is Mr. Brian Foote, the Humble CEO, just setting up Web3 at Humble Pay, decentralization, non-fungible tokens blockchain. This is the official NFT with metadata below. Step 1, registration of tweet on blockchain. Step 2, encoded and verified data packet. Step 3, QR generated, origin assurance. Humble has created a block token engine that will allow creators, publishers, and merchants to tokenize their digital content on the blockchain, such as digital files, music, art, and intellectual property. So in a way, this is just a start for the NFTs, and a lot of clients, such as Gary V, is actually sharing about how Gary Vaynerchuk, so he is also, of course, on Twitter, and he's been sharing a lot of tweets about the NFTs. So the most important part of NFTs for me is for individuals, like human beings being the behind the project, know how to build a community. So they talked about the cultural impact of digital collectibles, NFTs, over the next 20 years. And they remember that in the year 2000, they said that internet may just be a passing fad as millions are giving up on it. 2 million Britons have logged off the internet. This was December 2000. So they're just saying that the people who are sharing that the 1998 internet stocks explosion as a bubble, some people believe that, well, in 1998 and 1999, internet stocks exploded, and most, literally most, were wildly overpriced. And then March and April 2000 came, most have disappeared, they won a zero. Many said internet was a fad. They confused the price bubble of companies as a sign of the overall change. NFT will be similar. So a lot of people think that the NFTs are just non-fungible tokens, are just a fad. But take note at what happened. Born after year 2002. Let's take a look. You've got your Facebook, Tesla, Twitter, iPhone, iPad, Android, Alibaba, Apple App Store, Amazon Web Services, Uber, Airbnb, Blockchain, Square, Stripe, Spotify, Dropbox, Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Pinterest, Kickstarter, Messenger, Quora, Tumblr, BuzzFeed, Hulu, Tinder, Nest, Fitbit, Oculus, Kindle, Bitcoin, 4G, 5G, Zoom Video. There will be a lot of things that are happening in the world that so far most people are giving up on. And we think that the market is actually closer into a bottom rather than falling further. But what exactly is closer to the bottom if you are going to try to do some bargain hunting? So I think, like, let's take a look at each sector. Okay, so from a fintech sector, I'd say that from a fintech sector, we'll choose Humble Pay. A lot of people on the fintech sector would like Square, but you'd say that Square right now is still toppish. So still toppish. I'd say that even if this rallied from 200 to 1 to about $240, there will be more sellers in that zone. So we feel personally that 240, 280 is a sell-off in Square, and any rallies 20% higher on Square is mostly a sell. But the drop near 170 below, even 160 to 140 would start to be tempting for this Square. That would be for your fintech. Now let's take a look at a few fintech names. Your F-Talk, aka Pioneer, let's take a look at that. F-Talk has already, all the SPACs in general have already shed their premiums. After rallying from $10 to $14, it's now back to that $10 area pre-announcement of their merger with Pioneer. So I'd say that the people who got in as high as 11 or 12 should still be okay. You would be okay in the long run. So F-Talk, aka Pioneer, some of your fintech names are really on the oversold. F-Talk is one of them. Let's take a look at your BFT, which is your PaySafe. Although so far we think that the market is correcting, and so some people will of course sell it at about 17, 18, 15. Could see that there's a lot of selling pressure here. So some people who saw BFT rising to about 15.4 last night sold it first after the drop of $13 last Friday. So that said, if this fell back to about 13 or even less, say $11, I do expect people to buy these SPACs back. So the SPACs have been falling, whether it's the sector of many sectors actually, celebrity backed, many. So we will take a look at the portfolio of SPACs later on. Let's take a look one at a time. Fintech wise, let's take a look at some Chinese fintech. JFU was sleeping here at 160, but if it rallies about $2, expect some selling pressure there. JFin has a huge seller at about $5 here, $5, $6. So very it is still in a trading range. So let's assume you got in here at about 450 and it's now 360. Any rallies back to about 450, you'd be selling there. So there will be a lot of resistances on the way down and on the way up. Your 9923 has been falling. This is your YECA. YECA has fallen from 120 back to about $70. Some people are asking whether 70 is good enough if they sold at about 90 above. I'd say that some people who sold at about 90 above, so let's just encircle these sellers. These people who sold at 90 to 120 might actually be willing to enter somewhere here about 70 to 56. So this one is the 50 area. Those people who got in at 80 is neither here nor there. But if you're looking for oversold areas to buy and pick up, you could see that these drops back to about 70 below 70 to 57 might be an opportunity to enter into. So I think that most people should just have a buy list or a watch list, and then they just put it there. So 9923 is willing to be bought at 70 to 57 with the resistance clearly first 90 above. So it's a trading range for some of the fintech names. Let's take a look at your software names as well to watch. So big drop on your Billy, Chinese name, YouTube China. Actually, we gave a sell call on Billy at about 127 when it was rising very strongly. So very strong earnings, but the market is on a downturn and it's on an expensive valuation right now. So not surprised that it's falling down. Billy, of course, will compete with your Huya and Doyu esports as well. And so far, you're seeing the same thing. Your Doyu is also getting smacked down 19, 17, 15. Although it is perhaps going to get sellers at about 15 areas, you do have to understand that Doyu will be merged with Huya. And so the merger can actually allow it to be a bigger entity 6 months from now. So if you are more of the long-term setup, I'd say that this drop, of course, you could see that Huya went up to 36, people sold down there. But any potential drop is limited, in my view, at about 10 to 20%. So if Doyu is going to fall, I'd say that the drop would be limited here at about 11 to 12, back again there. So just like the supports here, it will be just there if it will fall. And of course, resistance so far at about 15 area for your Doyu. There will be resistances on Chinese names. Take note what happened on your Pintuoto, Chinese e-commerce, fell down fast after a very strong run. So these are high growth names that are getting pummeled down recently. 210 was the peak, and then you've got 190 here. These are sell calls. You could say that Pintuoto might get a first support here at about 120 and stronger support below 100. So if you're in the safe side, you'll be waiting still below 100. So I think that for now, what's very clear is that if you do buy this, you would be selling somewhere here at about 160. So you are looking for a bigger drop so that you can enter with a bigger range to trade into in the short term, with the view that in the long term, those 180 and 210 will actually be broken maybe about 1 year from now. Yeah. So, or even at least about 6 months if we do find a dip already. So the potential drops haven't been known yet. Some names still have leeway to go down. Your Pintuotuo still has leeway to go down. It's a high growth name. JD is still falling. It's 85. Looking to buy here about 80 or 72. So you're still waiting. You still see that the market will have more downside, say another 5% on the downside, and perhaps 10 to 20% on some of your high growth names. So still a sell off on your on some of the names. Fiverr is still being sold down from because it is very expensive. Both your Upwork and Fiverr indeed are some of the most expensive names in the market, high growth names. And so I'd say that the people are still waiting below 130. So any rallies of Fiverr will still be continuously sold down. You're noticing the 320 is already at 200. There's still no buyer. Fiverr is still on an eruption to the downside. So the upside is very small if you're buying at 196. So the buyers might still reside here at about 130. Very little here at about 130. Still on the downside. I would say that the market, if you ask me, some high growth names, no matter how much you like them, still have leeway to fall. So your net is still falling. You want to see whether you can enter near 40. The good news of the day would be on surrounding XPeng. Let's discuss XPeng news. Despite the fact that it's falling down here about 27, it's good to share that XPeng actually have all the good news in their earnings front. They reported earnings last night, and you could see that 2020 has been an extraordinary year for XPeng. Revenues increased 152% to about 5.8 billion yuan. Let's read their earnings release. Their third model is going to be delivered to customers this year. It will be the first production car equipped with auto-grade LiDAR. Their fourth model will be delivered in 2022, will be equipped with X-Pilot 4.0. So it's an autonomous driving. Very strong certainty on their production and revenues for 2021 and 2022. Let's watch some of their videos. So XPeng is expanding their sales source to 300, covering 110 cities. Covering 110 cities with XPeng supercharging stations to more than 500. We achieved high operational efficiency, built a strong foundation to capture the immense opportunities for future growth. XPeng is a high growth stock, achieving 4.6% gross margin, 28.6 basis point increase from 2019. Very strong movements on XPeng's earnings, and our profitability continue to improve. This is still indeed a Chinese Tesla in the making. Gross margins improving. Dr. Brian Gu, Vice Chairman, significant milestone in our company history. Revenues doubling, quadruple revenues from 4Q19. So take a look at their revenue numbers from 640 million to 2 billion to 2.85 billion in just fourth quarter 2020, an increase of 152%. Very strong numbers for your XPeng. Very strong numbers, and yet the market didn't appreciate. So this is their supercharging network. Over time, though, we do think that the market will buy XPeng. Let's read the news. Deliveries were about 12,000 vehicles for the quarter. Gross margin 7%. Full year delivery so far is 27,000 vehicles. Can you imagine how much XPeng will do if they sell 100,000 cars next year? So that would be quadruple of their current revenues of about $437 million. So you could clearly see that this is a company that can hit $2 billion of sales next year or next year. Deliveries of P7 reached 8,000, increasing 37%. XPeng's physical sales service network consisting of a total of 160 stores and 54 service centers. Very strong vehicle margins, a percentage of their revenues. Net loss so far is attributed mainly because of their liabilities for the preferred share redemption. And in the fourth quarter of 2020, compared with 1 billion yuan for the same period of 2019. Okay, you see that all the numbers are strong. So what we could only infer right now is that the market isn't looking at the results. The market is very much haywire in the interest rate yields. Either way, we know that there's a very strong resistance so far on XPeng, here about 46. So if we're gonna have to be very technical about this, even in the next 6 months, you should argue that there will be a strong resistance here at 46 first for XPeng. However, if you just simply take a look at the risk reward, entering at 26, your loss is, let's assume the worst, that you actually get to see it go down back to about $20. Although I really won't cut even if it goes $20, by the way. So just to show to you that even from a risk reward standpoint, you've got a 70% reward potential at 27 and just a mere 20% drop, even if it drops to about $20. So assuming you're entering $26 to $20 with a potential reward of 46 in the next 6 months, I think some people would rather buy more here rather than sell. So at 26 and 27, we look to buy more of XPeng rather than sell. And those who have shares higher levels are expected to keep their shares and just wait it out. Let's take a look at other numbers yesterday that is important to be shared. Okay, you could see that actually C Limited just did very well in their Brazil. So I shared the C Limited, did I? Okay, I don't think I shared the C Limited. Okay, a lot of people tweeted about SE actually doing well. Like example, this one, the Brazil shopping app monthly users could see that Shopee has 35 million today, outperforming the Mercado Libre, B2W Magazine, and Alibaba. So this is one of the favorites of Awesome 10X, and we would be happy to take a look at how we would buy up your C Limited. In the short term, 280 and 270 are your resistances, and so far it's been selling off here about 206. Some people might actually have started to buy 230 all the way to 190. Very strong support here, in my view, at about 186. So, assuming that the market does crumble to 186, you want to be entering your C Limited within the next couple of days. About 186 or 190 area is a good opportunity. If you're a short-term trader, you'd see that, okay, there will be some sell-offs at about 230 or 240. That will still represent a 20% upside considering you are buying one of the best companies in Southeast Asia, C Limited. Okay? High quality for high quality price. There's a lot of good companies. I forgot to share. Somebody is asking me prior to this streaming, Nikki, where will I buy Geely if I sold it in the past? Okay. So far, Geely has already fallen 40%, and we do see that $22 first support. But if it does break again, you've got another support at 20 and 18. So if you're looking to buy Geely, perhaps do a three-pronged approach. You buy 22, 20, and 18. So that would be for Geely. You want to be in the buying spree here about 22 to 18. That's your level. Somewhere here, the same at about October, November pricing. And then your 1 to 11 is being asked, okay, how about the Tesla of China? First support is found here about 169, but very strong 166 until 144. So this is a full set correction after hitting 280. Some people might wait further at 144 before they begin, but it should be okay. So within the next coming days, actually, the downside is very small for the bulls. The bulls will just buy, say, 145, and then I do believe that it rallies back to about 200 above. So you're seeing a 30% potential market rally. And then, of course, you get a lower high. It's a chop round for the next coming months. So if I'm going to analyze what exactly is happening in your NASDAQs, I do think that this drop at about 12.4 can still fall to about 12,000, but we would see a chopping range action here. So your previous high of about 12,000 might even over exceed back to about 11.4. So let's get these arrows here, even at 11.4. So you want to see that you should be more of a buy here at about 11.4, 12,000, and 12.4. So somewhere within that area, you're willing to buy these three-pronged approach. So if you started to buy tonight, let's say C Limited, if it falls to about $200, it's 206 right now, should be okay to start buying and nibbling. People are asking Nano Dimension. So started buying at about $7 actually, and any drops from about these levels should be actually more of an opportunity to buy. So about 7.6, I don't know if it's gonna go 5, but I'm okay to buy here. So the Friday low was 6.5. I'd say that even if it falls to 6, you have more buyers rather than sellers. Who are the buyers? These are the same sellers at about 15 and 12, buying back their same shares. And also the buyers are also the ones who shorted here. They have to cover at some point in time. So I think that a 50% drop from about 15 all the way to 7.5 should already require some people to be starting to cover all their positions in the short side. And I don't see any potential rebound to last very high either way. Your rebound will still stay here below 11. So let's say you got in at 7 and 8. Do expect some selling pressure about 10, 11, and so forth. And then we go back down and choppiness. So you'll see a choppy action. The kind of choppiness that I'm looking at is quite similar to what happened in a way, 2018. Let's take a look at your NASDAQ. So this is your NASDAQ. You had a choppy area here. Notice 2019, it was choppy here from about 8,000 to 7,000. So, yeah. So I don't think that we would hit somewhere in the super low range like this V-shaped move. But it's been choppy, right? So this was choppy. If you think that the market's really weaker, it's gonna be a very choppy range. So very strong movement, 8,000 to 6,500. That would be a 20% market range. And if the market's gonna be extended, we could see that deep movements. So assuming that you see that the market would be extended 14,000 to 11,000, these could happen as well. So right now, the market is still trying to find the next support. That's why we gave scenario planning for Nasdaq 12K, Nasdaq 11K, and Nasdaq 10K. Newer Xpeng. Oh, who was blocked? Why were they blocked? I don't know why they were blocked. But Neo or Xpeng is okay. Neo is fine. Right now, Xpeng has great numbers, and so does Neo. But I do expect that since the market's trying to find its footing, you've got some first resistance on your Xpeng and Neo. So for Neo, I do expect a 40% rally from 35. That would be about plus 7, you've got 42, plus 7 is 49. So yeah, I do expect that your resistance is somewhere here in the zone of about 49 below. That would be your resistance. And any drop of of Neo here about 35 would still be a considerable buying area. So of course, we don't exclude the fact that it could still fall to about $30 tonight. But I do think that the drops, like, okay, you could see there was a support here at about 28, right? But I think that Neo has already fallen a cliff, 63 to about 35. That's about almost half. It was falling to about 32 actually last Friday. So that should be good enough for some people to consolidate and buy within a range. New and Xpeng are okay for me. I shared it on my Twitter that I do believe that their mass market vehicles will become mainstream. It's a long term, but I'm okay with it. Is the massive tech sell-off nearing its end? Time to buy tech stocks in tranches. Actually, the first sector that I take a look at is how electric vehicles are doing. So I noticed that the market bottoms when Tesla finds it bottom. So Tesla tried to get bought up actually from 540 to as high as 600, only to fall down again here to about 560. But I could see that there is less leeway for it to fall further. Here about $500, you do see a strong support. Your prior resistance is your current support here at about 520 or $500. So if Tesla fell, chances are your new and next peng does fall. But I don't see a substantial like 50% downside from here. So I'd say that there will be people willing to already start to nibble this, but there will be these high-end resistance. So you've got some selling pressure at 650, 700, and 743. So you do still have those resistances in the next coming days. Yeah. And some people actually ask me, are there enough companies that can still go down? So there are companies that I really don't believe in. Not necessarily I don't believe in them, but I just feel that they've been a laggard ever since the market, even during the bull market. So actually, PagerDuty was a very weak name. So at $50, I felt that people would really sell off. So actually, last week, some people were asking. So we were bearish on PagerDuty, felt it had to be sold at $50. But here about 32, you'll notice that if you did sell at $50, any drop to about 30 below, you'd probably be looking to see an entry point there. In terms of some names that I do like to enter, I'm taking a look at buying some Twitter. Twitter finally breached this 64 area, the first line of support. I'm also looking to buy on any crash mode here about 52. So I'm more on the opinion that Twitter should do well. Actually, last night, Disney was all-time highs, trading at about 202 because there was news of a theme park opening by, I think, by April. So the market was happy that a lot of these value names that are reopening names are doing, they can reopen. So there's that movement. What do you think of CCIV? CCIV is a SPAC. So you do have a resistance at about 29, 30. In the short term, I'd say that these are selling pressures at about 32. And so far, the people who are trying to buy in 22, 24 are bargain hunting. So that doesn't mean that we are knowledgeable that that is the bottom. However, we are close to the bottom. I don't think it goes to 11. So from about 24 here about 16 should be okay. The resistances so far will be 30 to 31 in the short term. So in the short term, the market sees that Tesla at 700 might be resistance. And so it should be the same wavelength for your Churchill Capital, your NEO, and your XPeng. Yeah, I do see some from a sector standpoint. You still see that there's a lot of sell-offs happening, and yeah, so first time, no, you're seeing C Limited about 40% already from the top. It can still fall, so this is also interesting to me. Nvidia at $460, maybe it can go down to $400 if the market sell-off continues. But these are the companies that I am very much interested to buy on dips. So let's say it goes down to $400. This is Nvidia. So these should be in your shopping baskets, even if it goes down to about 300. Same for your Roku. Roku, you start buying at about 290, but all the way to about 180 or 200. So it's a little bit frothy. That's why the market is continuously selling off. You could see that your ARK Invest is still falling down about 30% already from its peak. That is RK. And your ARC-G, which is genomics, have been falling as well from about 114 to 81. So that is typical of all their PacBio and their Teladoc. So these are the names that are falling down. Some people started buying 28, but oops, it still fell here about 27. Could fall to about 25 or 20. But I'd assume that people would actually buy PacBio on a dip, and some people would actually buy BNGO on a dip. So BNGO fell $556, had a rally to about $8, people sold it. Chances are, even if it rallied to about 990, people will still sell it. And then it's just higher low and then lower high. You know, it will probably do something like a sideways action. So my verdict is that the market is more into a sideways action. Thoughts on GME? Actually, GME at 150 I felt was already high, but it even went to as high as 180. So I'd put a sell here at about 190 if given that looks like these levels are more on the selling prowl rather than on the buying prowl. So assuming you sold at about 150, no harm done. Not 150 to 190 right now. But I think people would profit take. So we were okay to buy it at 48 and 50 here, even at 42. But I'm not okay to pay at $190. So yon, thank you very much. Not a lot of companies to share. Stocks are still trying to find a bottom. You could clearly see that these reds are telling you that the market is still looking for a value, for a bottom, whether it be video games, whether it be your semiconductors, whether it be electric names. Take note that electric vehicles. So still a drop of 10% on your Baidu, still a drop of 10% on your Jinko Solar, still a drop of 10% on your Sunrun, another 8% drop on New, another 8% drop on Enphase. Actually, among the sectors that are getting down, this is my favorite sector. So if Baidu actually collapses and collapses, I think that it will be a very good opportunity to enter into these names, as well as your SunPower, as well as Tesla if it falls. So I'm more of the opinion that the Tesla group should be a great investment to keep on getting on any drops. So right now the market is still selling it off. So no need to be actually bullish in aggressiveness. But there will be a time when they will be going up, all of them. So should be okay. Clean Spark falling down 4%. Yeah. So it's okay. It's a little bit drowsy, the market, but the market will have to look for a way for it to bottom out. It doesn't bottom out in a climax. I think the bottoms happen when there is just, let the dust settle off. So what happened with Friday seems to be a very strong drop. And then on Monday, we went up and then fell. But I think the night, Tuesday, Wednesday, March, until maybe Friday, you want to see the market actually start, having low volatility. So because if it's always falling 20% down, at some point, the people who shorted are gonna correct and cover their own shorts as well. So you wanna see as well the disparity between the strength of BTC and the weakness of your humble pay and the weakness of your hot mining. Those are actually more opportunities for me to just still gung ho and add up on your blockchain stocks, because you know that the intrinsic value of BTC is higher than the market cap assigned for your hot 8 or your bit farms. So those are important things for me to understand. Thank you, and I hope you don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you again, and that's it. Have a good day. Bye bye.